there are two issues here. One is the House Joint Resolution 53, signed by the President, that allows states to use Title X funds and allows them to choose not to award those grants to abortion providers. And I appreciate the governor's actions yesterday to ask the DHEC board to not award any of these funds to abortion providers. The other issue is, as President of the Senate, I am statutorily required to ratify acts. I will ratify this year's budget, but this year's budget contains funds that will go to abortion providers for services other than abortions. And I am under the conviction that anyone providing abortions should not have any business with the state, that no taxpayer dollars should go to evil organizations like Planned Parenthood. And I'm challenging the legislature that the budget next year not to contain a penny for abortion providers. If the budget next year contains any funding for abortion providers, I will not be ratifying that act. To get the funding out is rather complicated. We're asking the legislature to take the time between now and this time next year and pass a budget that does not send a single taxpayer penny to a provider of abortion for any services whatsoever. And that is my commitment. Any questions?
So how much goes currently?
I do not know currently. I do know that out of Title X in 2015, $5.6 million was awarded.
But none of that went to Planned Parenthood, according to...
We're not exactly sure where that went. But I do know that in 2015, $33,000 of Medicaid funds went to Planned Parenthood. And I don't have the figure for this year's budget, but it's my conviction, whether it be the cancer screening, whether it be many services that are valuable, that the taxpayer funds should go to providers other than abortion providers for these services. I can't ask the taxpayers of this state to pay Planned Parenthood for a vitamin C. I'm that committed to this issue.
Do you have authority to, are you essentially saying that you have veto authority over the budget? Is that something that you have by law?
All acts are ratified by the Speaker and the President of the Senate.
Right.
I have ratified many bills that I did not like. I did not like ratifying the gas tax, for example. There are other avenues. If I choose not to ratify, the President Pro Tem could ratify. If the Speaker chooses not to ratify, the Speaker Pro Tem could ratify.
So should you be politicizing if that's what this, I mean, this comes across as politicizing the process, a perfunctory process?
I have been a pro-life activist all my life, and so has my wife. I'm not politicizing. This is an issue related to the liberty and rights of unborn children.
I think what I meant to say was that since it's a perfunctory process to ratify bills that have already been passed by the legislature, you don't view this as an attempt to politicize that process going forward?
As I mentioned before, I have ratified acts that I would not have voted for. This issue rises to that level of an extreme position because I'm convinced that unborn children deserve an extreme position.
The timing of it, I mean, this law that it was signed by Trump in April, like April 17th, something like that. You know, McMaster made his request to meet next yesterday, and we're doing this today. Why did this come up now? And we're kind of competing each other against
I believe it's coincidence because I was planning on making this announcement when the legislature passed the budget. It would be unfair to ask the legislature to change this year's budget. Fiscal year starts July 1st. That's why I'm telling you I will ratify this year's budget, but if next year's budget is not different, I will not be.
You've said there's money in this year's budget for some of these clinics that offer abortion. If you don't know the exact amount, where is it coming from? What agencies is it going through?
Medicaid mainly. Medicaid pays for lots of services, lots of valuable services. And I would like those dollars to go to providers that do not perform abortions.
So that could basically be done through proviso.
Could be done through proviso, could be done in the legislature's budget. We're not exactly sure how it's to be done. It gets rather complicated, but we've got a year to figure this out. And I believe we owe it to the unborn child, and we owe it to the taxpayers of this state that they will not be sending their money to abortion providers.
What do you say to critics who might say this is a campaign stunt, this is an effort to ramp up some of the conservative base ahead of the 2018 election?
I will say that I've been a pro-life activist my entire life and will continue to be. This is about defunding Planned Parenthood. And my wife shares the same conviction, and that's why she's here with me today.
Now, you say Planned Parenthood, but obviously there are three.
Other abortion providers, yes. Any other questions?
Thank you, Governor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your attendance. And if you do come up with follow-up questions, please don't hesitate to contact our office. Thank you very much.